Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Can you guess who I'm trying to imitate in today's video? Yep, you guessed it, Jeffree Star. Because in today's makeup tutorial, I'm going to be diving into the Shane and Jeffree Star Conspiracy Palette. I know the hype online was so real for these two palettes right here, both the Mini Conspiracy, or I always say them backwards, Mini Controversy and the Conspiracy Palette. I got this palette in the mail probably a week ago, so I've used it maybe 4 or 5 times. So today's video is not going to be a first impressions like my previous video on the Mini Controversy palette. Today's video is going to be mainly a makeup tutorial featuring my review, my thoughts, my opinions on this palette at the end. So guys, make sure that you stay tuned till the end of today's video so that you get my full thoughts, impressions, and a full review on this palette right here so that you guys know whether you want to pick this bad boy up or not whenever early spring comes around next year. Anyway guys, let me show you what the inside of the Conspiracy palette looks like. If you're clicking on this video, you probably already know, but here she is in all of her glory today. Beautiful array of mattes and shimmers. So guys, if you want to see how I achieved this smoky, glittery eye perfect for the holiday season using the Conspiracy palette right here, just keep watching. Alright guys, let's jump right into today's holiday inspired makeup look. To start off, I'm going to be priming my eyelids with the ABH eyeshadow priming base. I love this eyeshadow primer because it's creamy, it's blendable, it's opaque, it covers up all the veins on my eyelids, and it just really helps to extend the wear of the shadow and allow them to perform as best as possible. I'm just going to be applying this product directly to my eyelids and blending it out with the warmth of my fingertip. This is the trial size of this primer, but alone it's lasted me at least 10 different eyeshadow applications and I'm loving it. Right now it's my favorite eyeshadow primer to use for any type of look. Alright, now let's dive right into this Conspiracy palette, the reason that we're all here today. To start off this eyeshadow look today, I'm going to be taking that light pink matte shade called My Pills there in the first row, and I'm taking it on a Morphe Y22 blending brush. It has a nice tapered end, but I'm basically applying the shade My Pills all over my brow bone and there in my crease. This is going to set that eyeshadow primer, but also act to help us blend the rest of the shadows out on our lid and in our crease later on. So next up, we're going to be taking that shade Spiraling there also in the first row. This is a shimmery taupe grayish shade, and I'm taking it on a Sephora Pro Smudger brush, initially applying it really close there to the lash line, but then I'm bringing it up on my lid and extending it out at the outer corner in a wing type shape. Then I'm going to blend and diffuse that out there at the edges. And to do that, I'm using an e.l.f. Detail Crease blending brush, just so that we have no harsh edges there where that shade Spiraling ends. Next up, we're taking that shade called Sleep Paralysis in the last row on that same Sephora Pro Smudger brush. This is a lighter, more metallic and silver version of the last shade we used, Spiraling. And basically, we're going to apply that shade right along the perimeters or borders of the last shade that we blended out to create a gradient from that dark gray to lighter gray. And once again, after we have that shade laid down, we're going to diffuse it at the edges just like we did with the last shade with the same e.l.f. blending brush. Now we're going to dip into another metallic shade in that first row called Just a Theory, and this shade is a beautiful light rose gold metallic shade. And so that that pigment really shines through, I'm going to spray my brush with some setting spray before I start to blend it over top of the previous shade. The face setting spray I'm using here today is the Mario Badescu facial setting spray. You can use whatever you have, even a little bit of water, just a little something that's wet so that the metallic pigments in the shade can really shine through on the lid. And I'm applying this shade with the same technique that we've been using before, from inner to outer corner, again right at the border of the last shade that we applied and blended out. with that black shade in the last row called My Rides Here. This is a really deep, rich, matte black that's perfect to add some dimension close to the lash line. And again, we're using that same Sephora Pro Smudger brush that we used before. Initially keeping this black shade close to the lash line, but then I'm going to blend it up to really deepen up that gray shimmery shade we initially applied. And as you can see here, I was definitely not happy with the fallout from this black shade. So we're gonna clean that up with some Garnier Micellar water. First just on a cotton ball for under the eyes, but then I'm gonna grab a Q-tip to really get close and precise to clean up beside of that winged shadow that we created. It's really gonna clean up the shape and make it a lot sharper and fiercer. Yeah, that's much better. Now we can move on. So with that same Morphe Y18 brush that we used originally, I'm dipping into both shades Tanacon and Diet Root Beer to create a good cocktail, a good mixture of both of those matte brown shades. And I'm going to be applying them in my crease, just above that shimmery pink color, from inner corner to about the mid or center of the lid, and again, just blend that upwards. After deepening up my crease, I felt like my lash line was a little lackluster and could use more depth. So again, I know it's a little repetitive, but we're taking more of that black shade and applying it close to that lash line again, so that we have the full pigment and richness of that black shade. Now I'm switching up my brush. This is a nice, small, precise synthetic brush with a flat edge, and whenever I use it wet in combination with that shade, just a theory, it's really going to help me to cut the crease against those matte browns that we applied. And just because some of that silvery grayish pigment was lost, I'm doing the same process with the same brush with more of the shades Spiraling and Sleep Paralysis to bring those shades back out in this look, just because they were lost after applying more black and more of that rose gold shade. Here I'm blending just a bit more of those matte browns on a Morphe E33 blending brush just above those grays to tie in with the crease and inner corner brown that we applied earlier. So now taking a break from the eyeshadow palette, we're going to dip in with our cream gel eyeliner. So I'm using e.l.f.'s cream eyeliner in the shade black on a Morphe fine liner brush, and I'm using it on its side to really take advantage of those long-haired bristles, applying the liner from inner to outer corner in a bit of a tapered wing shape, again to mimic that wing shape that we have going on with the eyeshadow. And then before the eyeliner dries fully, we're going to smudge that out and upward so that the edges are smoked and diffused out into the gray eyeshadow. And once again, just add a tad more of the black shade to set the eyeliner and add further drama. And if you've learned anything about me in this video, it's that I'm a blending freak. So anytime I apply a shade, especially this black shade, I'm gonna blend it out. So do just that here, blend out that shade. Now let's go in with a pop of highlight. So again, I'm going to dampen the brush that I'm using to take advantage of the shimmery pigments. This brush is a Morphe Y22, and this time I'm dipping into the shade Ranch there in the first row. It's a nice light shimmery white shade, and I'm gonna pop that on my brow bone. Now we're moving on to the lower lash line, and again I'm going to wet the brush I'm using before I go in with the shade Illuminatea, which is a gorgeous, stunning emerald deep green shade. And to minimize the fallout, in addition to wetting the brush, I'm choosing to stamp this shade on my lower lash line from outer corner to the mid to lower lid. Then I went in to buff this shade out with a combination of the black and browns in the palette, and that's when I really got a little bit more fallout on my under eye area. But powering through, moving on, I'm taking the lighter metallic green shade called Conspiracy on the same wet e.l.f. brush, keeping this shade mostly on the inner corner of my lower lash line, but bringing it over top of that deeper green in the center of the lid to create a combination, a good blend of the two of them. Now just removing that fallout before I go in with more black to deepen up the green in that outer corner. And as you can see, I was going in with a very, very light hand to minimize any fallout here. And again, I'm using a stamping motion to build up that black shade there in the outer corner. So I'm initially stamping that black on the outer corner of the lower lash line, and then I'm extending it up at the outer corner in that wing type shape to really connect the two, the lower lash line and the upper lash line. So now we're going back in with that gel eyeliner that we used originally earlier in the video, and this time we're going to use it to tightline both the upper and the lower waterline from inner corner to outer corner. This nice little Morphe fine liner brush again is great for this purpose because it has those nice long bristles, so it really grips the waterline and allows you to control and just apply that product smoothly to your waterline. Now we're going to give our lashes a couple coats of mascara, and this is going to help us prep for falsies, which are completely optional for this look. You could totally opt to skip out, but I find that they add a lot more drama and glam to this holiday eye look, so to each their own, skip them if you want. The mascara that I'm using today is the Pacifica Stellar Gaze Length and Strength Mineral Mascara, and I'm applying 2 coats so that my lashes will be really nice and dark and defined, and so that they are going to pop against the shadow underneath. Once I was finished applying mascara to both the top and bottom lashes, I went ahead and did my face makeup, and I skipped the full routine for today's video, but I wanted to show you how I was able to use a couple of these eyeshadows for my blush in today's makeup look. So here I combined both of the shades Pigment, that hot matte pink shade, with the one right above it called My Pills, just to lighten it up a bit. And I diffused these shades out on the apples of my cheeks, as well as on the temples of my forehead, and I even dusted it across my nose for a little bit of a rosy glow. Now I'm just going in and hydrating my lips a little bit with some of Milani's Lip Plumping Hydrating Gloss, and this is in the shade Gold Dust. Now I'm just rehydrating my face again with that same Mario Badescu facial setting spray before I go in and highlight with more of that shade Ranch in my inner corner this time. So just adding that shade Ranch again there in the center of my inner corner for a pop of highlight there. And now for the fun part, or at least the part of the video that I'm most excited about because it involves glitter, and glitter is what gives this look all of those holiday vibes. So let's first prime our lids with e.l.f.'s glitter glue. I'm first just going to dab it on my eyelids all over top of those shimmery metallic shades with my finger, and then where I want to be more precise there in the crease where that rose gold shade meets the browns, I'm going to go in with a Morphe lip brush because it has a nice flat tapered end. That's going to allow me to get nice and precise there in the crease. And then for the actual glitter in today's look, I'm using 3, which is totally unnecessary. You can revert to just using 1. So today I'm using some by the brand Bulk Glitters or Super Glitters, and the 3 shades that I'm using today are the shades Ultimate Nude, Blushes Pink, and Vanity Gray. The reason that I'm using 3 glitters today is to really mimic the shimmery shades that are on the lids. So Ultimate Nude and Blushes Pink mixed together is going to be really complementary to that light rose gold shade we used on the lid, and Vanity Gray is going to be really complementary to those grayish taupey shades we used on the lid. So that's why I'm using 3 and being totally over the top. I like to first pat the glitter down with my finger, and then I'll go in with a fluffy blending brush just at the edges to dust off any loose glitter and to give a less concentrated look. And pow! With the power of editing, lashes are on. I used Kiss lashes today in the style Brazier, and these are from their holiday set, their All Eyes on You Falsies Trio. To conceal that lash band and also to finish up this holiday eye look, I'm taking a little bit more of that gel liner and I'm smudging it over top of the lash line where the falsies meet my eyelid just to disguise them even further. Now all that's left for this holiday glam makeup look is to apply our lippy, and it's only appropriate that I use my favorite Jeffree Star Velour liquid lipstick in today's video, which is the shade Mannequin. It's just the perfect light nude with a touch of pink for my skin tone, so I'm applying this all over both my top and bottom lip, using that applicator to slightly overline my top lip, and then I'm just going to blot the lipstick in with my finger. Now, just to add a touch more of a pink hue that's going to be really complementary to that blush on our cheeks, I'm going in with a little bit of ColourPop's Luxe lipstick in the shade Name Drop, which is a gorgeous go-to baby pink for me, and I'm just going to be very lightly blotting this over the top of that JSC Liquid Lippy so that I don't disturb it. Now to add a little bit of a frosty highlight to the lips, I'm taking some of Blossom Glow. This is a Mega Glow highlighter from Wet n Wild, and I'm dusting this across my Cupid's bow and there in the center of my lips to give more attention and a plump, poutier look. Now for added gloss and shine, I'm topping this lippy off with more of Milani's Keep It Full Nourishing Lip Plumping Gloss that we used earlier to hydrate these lips in the shade Golden Dust. And after you've applied your lippy of choice, this holiday glam makeup look is all complete. What do you think, guys?
So guys, I know you're probably wondering what I think about this palette. What are my thoughts and opinions, and do I recommend that you spend your money on it? And I would honestly be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit disappointed. Based on my last review on the Mini Controversy palette, well, spoiler alert if you haven't seen that video yet, but I was not let down in the least with this palette. I had no issues with pigmentation, blendability. I had a little bit of fallout with this shade, My Apology, but it was minimal. It didn't bother me too much. And yeah, all in all, I love this palette and I recommend it. But I did have one issue with the Conspiracy palette that I didn't have with the Mini Controversy palette, and that was the fucking fallout. It's awful in this palette. And I don't know about you, but I hate fallout. And even if a palette has fallout, it's usually not a deal breaker for me. I can work around it, use a lighter hand, use a really use a really sticky, tacky eyeshadow base that pigment can really adhere to, use a synthetic brush, wet the brush so that no metallic or shimmer properties fall out on your lids or on your under eyes. And like I said, I've used this palette 4 or 5 times now. I've given it a very fair shot. I've tried it in every mechanism with every brush and base that I have in my collection that I could manage to use with this and utilize to try to get the best out of this palette, and it's honestly a struggle. I've never struggled so much with a palette than I have with this one. And so for that reason and for that matter, I am a little disappointed in this palette. However, that being said, it doesn't mean I don't necessarily recommend it. I think this packaging is beautiful if you're a fan of Shane or Jeffree, if you're a makeup lover or fanatic. I don't think you'll be disappointed in having this as an addition in your makeup collection. The packaging, like I said, is absolutely stunning. I love the clasps. I don't own any other Jeffree Star Cosmetic eyeshadow palettes, but after having this one, I do want to try out the Blood Sugar and the Blue Blood palette that he has available on his website as well. So yeah, the packaging is outstanding, so high quality, it feels so heavy and nice. The closure is just perfect. It's almost like it's suctioning together, so it's a perfect fit. The metal clasps and hardware are very high quality. The big mirror is beautiful with Jeffree's and Shane's logo on either side. The shades themselves are beautiful. The color story is gorgeous. I think you can use this palette for pretty much any look that you can imagine. The pigmentation is also beautiful. They have great pigment payoff. They swatch beautifully even on unprimed skin. Also, the blendability is absolutely spot on in this palette. I had no issues blending shimmer metallics with mattes, and sometimes you never know when you get a palette how compatible the two formulas will be, and I'm happy to say I had no issues blending these shades together. I had no issues with the pigmentation. The only issue that I did have was with the tremendous amount of fallout, and that alone is not enough for me to knock this palette totally and not recommend it to you. However, if you are someone that hates fallout, that's definitely something to consider. Also, if you are someone that applies your eyeshadow last after you've applied your face makeup and your foundation, this palette is going to do nothing but make you want to pull your hair out, because it's damn near impossible to apply these shadows and blend them on the eyes without any fallout getting on the underside of your eyes and on your cheeks. So do I recommend this palette to you? Do I recommend that you purchase it and stock up? Not 100%, not for everybody, especially if you're a beginner in working with eyeshadows. This is not beginner friendly. Fallout is definitely not something that is beginner friendly. This fallout in this palette is just going to give you a headache, honestly, like it gave me a headache the past 3 or 4 times that I've tried to use it. Today I was just very careful. I did my eyes absolutely first. I did even the underside of my eyes first, which is completely abnormal for me. Normally I do my concealer and then go in with the eyeshadow underneath here over top of the concealer. But today I did absolutely all the eyeshadow first prior to any face makeup to avoid fallout, and that's the only way that I can make this palette work for me. So you do have to kind of bend the rules and do what you will with this palette to make it work best for you. So whether or not this palette is worth it is totally up to you, but I don't recommend it to everyone. If you're a beginner with eyeshadows, if you struggle with fallout already, or you do your eyes last, I don't recommend this palette to you. If you're someone who just loves makeup, you love Shane and Jeffree, and you want to support the collaboration, then go for it, get this palette. I'm not saying that I'm not going to use it again. I really want to get the full use and my money's worth out of this palette and really play around with that hot red, the orange, and this neon yellow especially. So you will see it in future videos, probably in future looks, but I don't 100% recommend it. That being said, I do recommend the Mini Controversy palette. I had very minimal issues with it. I did have fallout with the shade My Apology, but other than that, it worked beautifully for me. And of the 2 palettes, I recommend the Mini Controversy over the Conspiracy, and it's cheaper, so that works out too. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video and for sticking around until the end to hear my full thoughts and opinions on this palette and whether or not I think you should purchase it. If you're new to my channel, consider subscribing. I put out new makeup tutorials, and more recently I've started doing these product first impressions and reviews, which has been really fun and also challenging in a way. So let me know what you like to see and what you like to watch here on YouTube. If you prefer makeup tutorials, if you like chatty videos, maybe I could film a Q&A. Be sure to give this video a huge thumbs up if you like honest product reviews, and if you like how today's makeup look turned out. I think it's a gorgeous smoky eye, and the pop of glitter really makes it perfect for the holiday season, and it's really eye-catching, especially if you have a fun party planned or something to go to. You could even wear this to your New Year's occasion, any type of holiday party. I think you'll feel gorgeous and glam in this look. Also, stay tuned. I have some videos coming out soon. I'm going to be doing a Back to Basics series here on my channel as Tia Levering recommended to me. So thanks, girl. Thanks for giving me your recommendation. I'm going to be doing, first off, a Back to Basics on brows and probably on lashes and winged liner, things of that nature. So yeah, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys. In the making of this here, what is this here? As stumbling all over my words.